Hey YouTubers, Dr. K here with another broadcast with another exciting episode today. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Today I'd like to talk to you guys about once you've gone back to the real world, what shouldn't you do? Been talking about something really cringy lately. It's been gnawing at the back of my mind. You guys remember me talking about the people I've gotten out? Let's talk about the first person I've gotten out, the girl from Malaysia. My student, so-called, made a grave mistake. What was the grave mistake she made? She shouldn't have completely ignored the laws of the real world. The thing is, here's a bunch of stupid stuff or stupid shit that she did when she came back. First of all, when she came back, she stayed on a military base because she's not feeling safe about going out into the real world. So she stayed on a military base to be safe. We already said she's allowed to go to use the facilities, and that's about it. So what did she do? We told her to get a firearm to protect herself so she could walk around the streets and go shopping. So she went to the firing range on the 3rd floor, and what did she do? She grabbed a Glock 17, a belt holster with 3 magazines, one inside the firearm itself, totaling up to over 80 rounds of 9mm. What was the problem? The problem was she walked out of the firing range without registering the firearm. Yeah, that's the first problem. The second problem is she was logging back into the real world without at least 90% of her consciousness up there, which means she could barely see. Sometimes not even being able to see at all, while with a strap of firearms and over 80 rounds of 9mm strapped on her. Then she proceeded to be staying in the room with a roommate. And then what did she do? She went to bed while having that gun still in the holster and 3 magazines still on her while she was in bed. Now what if she rolled over on a funny angle and accidentally bumped the trigger? Then the gun probably would have gone off because she had a magazine inside the gun. It was loaded. That was a huge disaster and a half. The other day when I was trying to ask her, I was told there was a gun missing from the firing range. Where did it go? And then you tell me that you actually got out of Glock 17 like you said. And she says, yeah, I remember I did. But then she told me a different story later on. She said, no, I think I put it back. And I said, what? Well, it's not there. It's not registered. And where is it? You got a missing firearm in the military base. That's pretty bad. Had to search all over the place. Had to go search the gym. Had to go search pretty much everywhere, top to bottom. Search B1. Go look around. What happened? In the end, where did I find it? I found it at the cantina. The chef had it. And I was like, oh, the chef had it? Where did you find it? Oh, I found it at the gym. By the barbells. Well, not barbells, by the dumbbells. And I was like, you found it by the dumbbells on the ground? With the whole belt there? Yep. And you didn't hand it over to the counter to lost and found? And it is a gun. It's quite dangerous. So you just decided to put it in your gym bag and walk out with it. And what did you do with it? He said he went to the firing range and he played with it and emptied all 4 magazines. And I said, well, thank goodness you didn't kill anybody with it. And yeah. So he ended up spending the night in the cells to think about his actions. The shift, that is, because that was irresponsible. You don't take something that doesn't belong to you, especially a firearm. You don't. Nobody would do that here. Why would you do that in the real world? That's silly, isn't it? Then I went back to go ask the girls, and I asked her, "Why did you lie to me? Why did you say first you left, you know?" Okay, it's not just lying to me, it's her being completely unaware. Like, first she didn't register the firearm and she walked out with it in the firing range. Secondly, at the firing range, who's in charge there? A robot called Bob. And I was asking Bob, like, you've been there for how long? And you didn't get her to do the paperwork and she just walked out with it? Really? Well, Bob's definitely not getting paid this month. And think about his misconduct. There's a bunch of things going on. And yeah. Here's the thing, like, if there's people gonna be coming back out to the real world, and if there are people looking forward to coming back out to the real world, I think the most appropriate thing I should do is hand you an information package after all the paperwork was done, and I should just give you a plane ticket and just tell you to go home. I think that's the safest thing you should do. You should not stay in the military base. Most people with a normal sense of mind would know that the military base is not a children's playground. It's dangerous. There's firearms, there's soldiers everywhere, there's officers walking around, there's medical units rushing around, there's people, sometimes, there's soldiers fighting rebels, and some soldiers getting hurt, and then they're coming back to the mid bay getting treated. It's a lot going on down here. It's not a place for people and children to play around, messing things up, So I think if anybody's interested in coming back, and if they're capable of coming back and getting unplugged, they should definitely get a plane ticket wherever they're from and just go home. That's what I think you should do. Just go home, take a week or two off, go get a job, get back to your life, and that's the safest thing you could do. What happened to that student now? Well, she violated a bunch of laws and she's in prison now.